Hey everybody, how you guys doing today? My name is Nick, otherwise known here as Avialence, and today we are going to be talking about virtual reality for this video blog. So virtual reality is something that's always intrigued me. It's something I've always been interested in, especially because I'm a big gamer, right? And I had the opportunity to experience it for the first time last week. Now, that was with the Oculus Rift. I know this has been out for about 2 years now, and there's been a lot of testing, and they're getting very close to having like a presentable product, right, for consumers. But my friend Alyssa was actually able to hook me up with an Oculus Rift. They got a dev kit to work with because they're both, her and her boyfriend are both designers, right? So they figured that they'd go ahead and mess around with it and have a good time with it. So they picked up a dev kit. You can get these for around $350. I'm not sure the entire process, but it is still pretty neat. The headset actually works pretty easily, right? You're going to put a video card on the input, and then the output goes to HDMI, so it basically turns the goggles into a monitor, so to speak. So if you're running multiple monitor setups, a little confusing to set up, which is why we had an issue with this from the get-go. So I went ahead and I got to play Skyrim with the goggles, and then I also got to play the Tuscany demo, and I tried some Arma 3 as well. So I have footage from all those that we're going to be kind of going into right here in a second. But overall, it was a really cool experience, but I want to kind of talk about it with the footage in the background so you guys can see what I'm seeing and also see the goggles in action. So let's go ahead and get right into that.
So welcome to virtual reality. I have to admit that staring at myself wearing these goggles while doing this commentation is a little freaky. I did have a difficult time at first because I had so much hair and it was an absolute mess. This is one of those rare occasions where you guys will find me hatless in any of my videos. But the Oculus Rift is a really interesting piece of hardware. So it's controlled by basically becoming an external monitor on your computer. So I plugged it directly into my video card with DVI and then put an HDMI output that went right back into the headset. So it was actually not too bad to set up once I knew what was going on. The experience is great too. I mean, I'm going to have a little bit of footage from inside and outside of the goggles. So what you're looking at right now is outside, and then I also have some recorded inside, so you guys see what it looks like. But this is actually the first demo I got to play, and this is the Tuscany demo. So this is something that my friend Alyssa recommended. It's kind of a good opening to the Oculus Rift. Use the controller to move around, or you can use your mouse and keyboard. I felt that the controller was a little easier for me because it's all centrally located, and I know I'm holding it instead of having to push different keys. But you can see this Tuscany demo, it's not beautiful, so to speak, graphically speaking, right? I mean, it's not gorgeous at all, but it's good enough to the point where it's amazing. It's amazing being in this because when I was walking around, this is controlled by my head. What you guys are seeing is my head movement, and then the movement of my actual player character is via the controller. It's a really cool concept, and it kind of blew my mind. When I first put the goggles on, I had a very difficult time adjusting, but after about 30-40 minutes of messing around in the Tuscany demo and also Skyrim, as you guys will see later in the video, I got a better feel for how these things work, and my body sort of adjusted. When you go in, it's pitch black, and when you turn on the goggles, it picks itself back up, and you're good to go. The big thing is the motion sickness. I am actually a very motion sickness conscious person. I cannot ride roller coasters, I cannot read in the back of a car, and I cannot type or write in the back of a car either. It's just something that I was kind of born with, right? It's something that I can't really get rid of, even though I've tried a million times. And that's why I don't do a lot of roller coaster stuff with the GoPro here, right? So doing this in video games was quite awesome. The really big point that it kind of hit was when I was going up and down stairs. Anything that's multi-level where you can feel like you can reach out and touch something, which felt very true in this Tuscany demo. I felt like I could reach out and grab a book after my body sort of adjusted to it. It's quite wild, and it's a really cool concept. This is an experience that really lends itself to games like Arma 3 and Skyrim, which are two of the ones that I did try. Now, with Arma 3, I wasn't quite sure what I was doing, so to speak, so when I did end up playing Arma, I had a difficult time because I didn't have the 3D Vision Center installed that lets you turn non-Oculus Rift games into Oculus Rift games by separating the viewpoint and turning it into a 3D environment. So when I was playing Arma here, I was technically squinting my left eye and looking out my right eye so that it wasn't, too crazy because it didn't quite match resolution wise. But this got me extremely motion sick. The first thing I thought was like, I wonder what it'd be like to fly in a helicopter on Arma. So I hopped into the first mission, and even though I was still able to control everything with the head tracking to a degree, I was amazed at how this made me so motion sick. When you have a headset on, I was using my Astros and the Oculus Rift, it really kind of kicks up and makes you think, this is insane. You feel like you're in the game, and in a game like Arma 3, I feel like I would be, just totally addicted. I'm already addicted to Arma 3, and by playing it with these goggles, I was even more so addicted. It was something that just blew my mind, because I felt like I was actually on that helicopter looking over the edge. My body picked that up, and I played Arma 3 after getting adjusted to it too, so it was about an hour after the Tuscany demo, and I hopped in, and immediately my body was just like, dude, I can't handle this, because it feels so real, and that's something that really blows my mind. mind. I did not expect these to feel the way they did, but I think the big question is, are they worth the price point, right? And that's something that I think I'm a little hesitant on. When we did hop into Skyrim, I did have the 3D Vision software, but it wasn't a paid version, it was the free version of it, so it had some issues rendering shadows, and there was a lot of lag when I was trying to do the screen capture. So there really isn't too much there. You guys will notice some frame lag when we actually go into the Oculus Rift vision, so to speak, here in a second. Skyrim with these things was wild, though, despite the lower quality that I had to run it at. I was able to do it with the 3D Vision software around 30 frames, so it was a lot choppier than I typically play at, which is the solid 60 with mods on my PC. But I think that's just because, again, the 3D software we use wasn't too great, so to speak. But you guys will notice that here in the game, this is with the free 3D Vision software. There's a lot of shadowing issues, and the balancing's a little strange. So I'm going to go in and mess with this a bit more, possibly this month if I get hands-on with the Rift again. Again, it is not mine, so I wasn't able to, keep it and mess with all the mods and stuff. But to get rid of the HUD and things of that nature, because you can see how it's kind of angled, and it looks that way in the goggles too. So I had a difficult time adjusting to the Skyrim thing, especially with these shadow issues. I wasn't quite sure what these were, but I did want to try to fix the 3D Vision software. But you can see the deteriorating frame rate, which was a little rough, but the fact that even in this I felt more immersed in Skyrim goes to show how successful these goggles can be with a game like Skyrim, for example, or the next Elder Scrolls game. The problem I see with the Oculus Rift, though, is it has to be a first-person game. You cannot play in third person because it's just trippy and it does not work. So these have a limited audience, I feel, because I am a big third-person gamer. For all of you who've watched my Skyrim videos, you guys know that I play Skyrim in third person. I do not play in first person. When you look over a cliff or you look over an edge and you use the head tracking, it's a very, very cool piece of technology, but the thing is it worth that price point? Is it worth going out there? And especially for you guys who are like me and have motion sickness, will it make you sick? That's something that really kicks in with the Rift. Overall, I had a great experience, though, and I highly recommend you guys to get hands-on if you have the time to do so.
Thoughts on the Oculus Rift pair of goggles, or the Oculus VR as it's called now. I think it's a very cool piece of technology. It's something that I definitely want to spend more time with now that I've understood how to set them up, and as well as mod games specifically for them, namely Skyrim, because you do have to mod a game that isn't meant for the goggles to work with the goggles. I think they're cool in a lot of first-person games. Amnesia, Outlast, things of that nature would be great. The horror games would be awesome. But outside of that, I play a lot of third person, and these don't really help in third person. They're really focused on first person, and is that enough to have players buy the goggles, right? You guys have to have head tracking, this, that, and the other. And while it's very cool, I did get motion sickness very quickly. About 30 minutes in, that's when it kind of kicked in, so who knows? I think it's a cool device. I think it's a cool piece of technology, but they have to make it consumer friendly, which these are definitely not right now. And the other part is they also have to price it very well. They have to price it a consumer standpoint, because paying $350 for goggles is something that a lot of people won't do, especially if it doesn't work with all of their games that they're going to be playing. But overall, I think it's a very cool device. I wanted to share this video with you guys and kind of give my thoughts on it, because this is a really cool topic. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about VR too. If you guys have ever played around with virtual reality or tested out the Oculus or other goggles, I know PlayStation just unveiled their headset, their virtual reality headset. I'm assuming Microsoft will be revealing one sooner or later, because both of those have been rumored. But let me know what you guys think of VR in the comments below the video, and feel free to hit that subscribe button for another video blog next Friday. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it, and I will talk to you guys in the future. Have a good one.